Today on CityCast Chicago, like a perfectly timed jump scare in a horror movie, October done snuck up on us, but no need to be frightened. We've got your monthly guide to help you make the most of it. It's Monday, September 30th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. Joining me today are executive producer Simone Alicea. What's up, Simone?
Hey, Jacoby.
And we are joined by our producer, Michelle Navarro. Michelle, welcome back to the building.
Hey, Jacoby.
Now, if you're new to CityCast Chicago, welcome. Along with our daily newsletter, Hey Chicago, we are bringing you everything you need to know about the city. And I mean everything. We are watching what's happening in Chicago public schools. We talk about best place to get cocktails with your friends, but also places to eat by your damn self. And we have fun debating what the new Illinois flag should be. And yes, this happens 5 days a week, every single week in your feeds and in your inboxes. And today we are talking through this amazing month of October in front of us. And so obviously we should probably start talking about the holiday that really anchors this month for most people. I know this is like pumpkin patch season, it's apple picking season, but this is really spooky season for most people and probably a lot of our listeners. So I'm gonna start here. Michelle, do you care about Halloween? Is this something that excites you as we are getting started with October?
I love Halloween.
Of course you do.
It's just like so fun, and you get to decorate and you get to think about what you want to dress up as. I always swear I'm going to think about it in advance, but I always have to like scramble at the end to figure out what I'm going to be. So that's probably going to happen this year. But I think this year what I really wanted to be is Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service. Like, get the broom, get the little dress, get the red bow, get a little black cat, like a stuffed animal, you know what I mean? Like, have the whole...
Bro, that's such a throwback. The movie came out in 1989, the same year my brother was born.
I love Kiki's Delivery Service.
Do you think you're gonna have to explain it to people a lot?
It just depends because the Studio Ghibli like fandom is like deep. You know what I mean?
Okay. Simone, what about you? Are you big on Halloween? And if so, what costume idea is currently percolating in your mind?
I wish I was big on Halloween. I all of my favorite people in my life love Halloween. They love dressing up. They love scary stories. They love the aesthetic and everything about it. I am sort of about the whole thing. I don't like horror. I don't like being scared on purpose. And I feel so much pressure in coming up for costumes. Like I never come up with anything I like, or it doesn't look the way I want it to look. I don't know. I can't really like fully enjoy it the way I wish I could, which is a shame because Chicago goes really hard for Halloween, I feel like.
Yeah. The part of me wants to like Halloween, wants to be somebody who dresses up, wants to go out and get a costume. But I feel like every time I participate in Halloween, I get disappointed. Like last year, I really tried to participate. I think the only thing I didn't do was get a costume. I went to a haunted house out in Aurora last year. I participated in a few storytelling shows in which the theme was about Halloween. And so I've tried to tell stories, like spooky stories from my own life. I tried to watch more Halloween movies. And then I even went to a Halloween party last year. All of it was bad. I didn't enjoy the haunted house. The party got shut down early. None of the movies managed to scare me and felt like a waste of my time. And so this year, I feel like I'm not even going to try that much, y'all. I don't have no plan for a costume. I don't have no Fifi on my calendar. I do not plan on going to anything Halloween related this month. So I'm gonna start us off on a very cynical note. I'm anti-Halloween this October.
I think one time we actually did have an episode that was like why Jacoby hates Halloween. I think it was in the title of the episode, as I recall.
And I tried to do better. I tried to like go against my own instincts last year and participate, really lean in. And unfortunately, just everything disappointed me.
Maybe instead of like being the person who enjoys Halloween, you should be the one who like makes it enjoyable to other people. Like you can like, what's it called? Like apply to be in a haunted house. Like, would you like to scare people at a haunted house?
Is Jacoby frozen?
He looks like
Oh, I see.
No,
very good one.
it didn't work. It didn't work. Hell no, y'all. I walked through that entire haunted house and I was the worst one. As soon as somebody was scaring me, I'd just be like, oh man, your makeup looks really cool. Oh yeah, you rock that chainsaw.
Right, but would you be the one? Would you be willing to be in the makeup to scare people?
Just
I
like
think
sitting
was
there waiting for people to come through so I could like jump in their face. Always the looming threat that someone will punch me square in the mouth. No. I mean, if people are interested in haunted houses, Chicago and the Chicagoland area has tons of them. Friend of the show, Samantha Nelson, who you just heard from last week, worked with Time Out to put together a list of some of Chicago's best haunted houses, things like Basement of the Dead. You got Dungeon of Doom Haunted House, Disturbia Haunted House, Hell's Gate Haunted. The names just keep going and going and going. We'll drop a link for you in the show notes. When the last time y'all went to a haunted house? And did it scare you?
I was a child the last time I willingly went to a haunted house. I was literally in elementary school. It was my elementary school's Halloween carnival haunted house. And yeah, I was terrified and I cried. And I've never been to one since. No.
I don't like getting scared either.
I don't like getting scared. To that end, I think one thing, if Halloween is not your bag, there's also, of course, at the end of October and into early November, Dia de los Muertos celebrations at the National Museum of Mexican Art and some other stuff, too, that I think is cool, like that is sort of like spooky adjacent, but not scary and not like Halloween is the Arts in the Dark parade. On October 19th, that is going to be going through downtown on State Street. It is what it sounds like. Like it's a nighttime parade, and it's but it's full of a lot of different like art groups and stuff. And so they do a lot of like cool stuff that glows and big like displays, and it's pretty cool looking. Okay, so here's a question for the two of you: if you had to come up with like the best Chicago Halloween costume, like if you were to dress up as a Chicago thing, what do you think are some good ones?
Like if money was no option, Benny the Bull.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Like, oh my God, if I could go out in an authentic Benny the Bull costume and just get all of the love that Benny gets on Halloween, I think that'd be fire. Candyman, I feel like that probably isn't the toughest costume to put together. Get your like beat up old trench coat, get your little hook hand.
It's more a makeup thing than a costume thing,
Yeah.
This is ironic, but I don't drive. But if I could make a big cardboard ticket, like a
parking ticket?
Yeah, like a parking ticket. I think that'd be kind of funny, where it's just like my head's maybe cut out and I'm just like a big square and my hands just stick out. Like I'm just like the cutout.
I think it would be cute if you just like made it an outfit. So it's like you have like an orange headband and then like a white, like a white suit or dress with like orange, across and then like some writing on it.
Just like parking violation or something.
Yeah, like you could make it cute.
I'm trying to think some other Chicago. I feel like we've done this before, and so there are some that come to mind. Like we've done Lori, we've done State Street Preacher. Like we've done some of those already. What else? A pothole.
I think if someone could find a good way to dress as a pothole, I would. My brain goes a different way because I think you have to actually make it hard for people to move. You know what I mean? I think you have to actually like be inconvenient for people to be a pothole.
No, you gotta. I think you have to have a costume that looks like the front of it looks like a paved road, and then the middle is just all jamble, and then you just like lay down at the party. You just lay down in front of people when they're trying to walk at the party, like over and over and over.
I think for a more fun one, I think if you wanted to go as the Carbide and Carbon building, I think that would be really pretty.
Just a big fancy bottle of champagne.
Oh,
you could just like walk around with a bottle of water and just like put some in your mouth and just be standing in the corner spinning out and just be like, I'm Crown Fountain. Just stand in the corner, just like spin water.
That's funny. I like that.
You don't have to dress up as anything. You just gotta randomly spit out water at different points.
If you are looking for spots to find costumes, Chicago or otherwise, one spot I would put people on is Fantasy Costumes. It's a local costume shop that runs year round in the sort of Portage Park, Old Irving Park area. So you can skip the Spirit Halloweens that have now opened, that have proliferated around the Chicagoland area, and find a local spot.
I wanted to get y'all best tips for moving through Chicago in October. It's a time in which like the weather is going to be a little unpredictable. So what are some of your best tips you want to remind people of just to keep an eye on, to be thinking about during this month, Simone?
One thing I think that this time is really good for is cleaning out your closet. Right. So you're switching your wardrobe over anyway, starting to pull out some of your cold weather clothes. And so that makes it just a good time to maybe get rid of some of that summer stuff that you ended up not wearing that you need to clear out. There are lots of places in Chicago, that take donations. One spot that I think I wanted to put on folks' radars in Humboldt Park is the Humboldt Park Solidarity Network runs a free store, and they will take clothing donations. Brown Elephant is another one that I really like. I spend a lot of time in Brown Elephant. I spend way too much time and maybe too much money in Brown Elephant. A couple locations there on the north side.
I saw somebody who worked in one of those stores on TikTok, and I will tell people, if you are at a time where you want to donate clothes, where you want to get rid of things, please think about, would you want to receive this if you were going into secondhand? Like, don't think of it as this is a trash, right? If you got things that need to go in the trash, throw those away. But don't just take your rattiest clothes or like your dirtiest or most beat up or things that you absolutely don't like, you would not wear again, but you also really wouldn't consider maybe giving to somebody like close to you or like offer up. Don't see these places as trash. And then another thing, maybe wash the clothes. Like, that's the one thing I see online with people who work in thrift shops, secondhand stores, is like people will just come in with a bag that feels like they left in their trunk for 7 to 8 months, and now all of a sudden the season's changing. They want to get rid of it to clean out their closet. Maybe go on and just take things through a wash.
That's a really solid point. Is there's a really big difference between clothes you can donate and that can be resold and reused versus clothes that should just be recycled or disposed of in some other way. Some of those bins that you see around Chicago, those like clothing donation bins, even though they might not be used locally, but some of those places do like recycle clothes. And so if you're just trying to get rid of stuff that's broken that you're not going to repair, that's a good spot too. And on the other side of that, if you have like really nice stuff that is just not fitting anymore, you just don't like it, there's always more like consignment vintage shops too that you might be able to get a little money or get some store credit to then use when you're thrifting for your Halloween costume, right? I was at a thrift shop in Logan Square, El Dorado, and I found this like, it was head to toe gold sequined jumpsuit that I would never wear. Where would I wear this? But I was like, I could go as a glass of champagne and make this the centerpiece of my costume. So it's a good thrifting game to play in October, I think.
Michelle, what about you? What is a tip you have for people this month?
So, something that I think would be really fun to check out. The Chicago Architecture Center is hosting Open House Chicago, October 19th to the 20th. It's a free and public festival, about over 40 sites of demonstrations, talks, just kind of really showcasing just all these different sites in Chicago that are architecturally, historically important to the city. And so they have they include a bunch of neighborhoods along with, typical downtown tours, but they go to Inglewood, they go to Pilsen Little Village, they go to Albany Park. They're like literally everywhere in the city. And so I think finding a site close by to check out, I mean, it's a chance to do it for free and you get a free tour and you get to learn more about the city.
No, I love Open House Chicago. It's always nice to have like a helpful guide or a list to get through just how many different Chicago gems there are, how many different landmarks there are, how many different styles of Chicago architecture there are. And I think it's a place where you're going to learn a little bit, get some of the jargon, get some of the vocabulary, and again, get to stop in some buildings that may not be open to the public year round.
Speaking of that jargon, that vocabulary, we actually put together a little sort of glossary of like architecture 101 terms that every Chicagoan should know because we talk about architecture a lot. And so you should definitely check that episode out when you get a chance.
In the middle of October, there's going to be a chance to, of course, observe and celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, which lands on Monday, October 14th. The Mitchell Museum of American Indian in Evanston will be having an Indigenous Peoples Day kind of celebration from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is also very free. And the second half of the day from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., there's going to be an Indigenous Peoples Day powwow. For people who don't really know what powwows are, they're just kind of this really big celebration, very culturally significant to Native Americans. And everyone is welcome. It's a really beautiful experience if you haven't experienced it before. This is going to be a very historic powwow, especially here in Illinois, because they're going to be celebrating the first reservation for the Prairie Band of Potawatomi Nation here in Illinois. And so we also did an episode on that a couple months ago about how Illinois got a reservation after nearly 200 years. And I think, really kind of checking into that, learning about the Potawatomi Nation, this really important accomplishment, and just kind of being in celebration is a really good way to educate yourself, learn more about a culture that I feel like, Chicago has the largest population of urban natives in the Midwest. And so I think definitely like taking the time to observe this celebration and to learn more about it is really important to this community and for everyone.
Yeah, Chicago's indigenous community helped build this city. You can learn more at places like the Field Museum throughout the month. I know they also have exhibits that go on throughout the year. One organization I follow on Instagram is Shy Nations Youth Council. They also run the First Nations Garden, which is actually shutting down this month as it goes through necessary remediation, but they're always looking for volunteers. They post information for powwows, for open mics, but they also recently partner with the Newberry Library, which teaches an Indigenous history adult education course that people can sign up for to learn more as well. And so that's one organization that is kind of constantly doing events throughout the city and providing people with great information throughout the year. So that's one I would definitely tap into. Simone, one thing we are going to be talking about over the next month and a half, of course, is the November election. But we got some really important dates coming up this October. For people who are not like me, who are just going to wait till November 5th to go in and vote, what are some important dates in October they should know about?
Yeah. So coming up just this week, the first day of early voting at the Board of Elections super site downtown at 191 North Clark, and also at the Board of Election offices at 69 West Washington. I think people forget that, voting starts a month before Election Day. So, already we're going to start to be seeing and have been seeing, voter guides, different publications who have come out to talk about the different races on our ballot. I think some of those races that we will be taking a look at, obviously the school board races are a big one. Chicago electing its first school board, at least, half of a school board this year before we fully elect our school board. We've got congressional races on the ballot. We have, state legislative races on the ballot. Also, the state's attorney race, county state's attorney race is going to be on the ballot, in addition to, of course, the president. So some local stuff that we're going to be watching and certainly seeing what the results are. In terms of some other important dates coming up in October, October 20th is the last day to register to vote online. And then early voting in the wards. So if you want to go to your ward, the precinct place that's in your ward, that starts on October 21st. And so early voting starts downtown this week, and then in the wards, in the neighborhoods on the 21st.
Simone, are you voting by mail this year?
I am voting by mail. I'm on the permanent.
Gee, the fact that you the pride you take, I love it. Like I said it, and your other hand immediately went to the hip, and you kind of rocks out. I say, yes, I am. I love that so much for you.
I know a lot of people sort of in Chicago first started voting by mail maybe during the pandemic in 2020. That I think is when it started to really become more regular and popular. I'm from a state that does entirely vote by mail. So it is actually the only way I have ever voted since I turned 18. And I am on the permanent vote by mail roll, which you can do if you sign up to vote by mail. You can ask that them to just, to always send you a mail-in ballot for every election. The last day to apply for a vote by mail ballot for this election is October 31st, is Halloween, end of the month. But, you probably want to do it beforehand. I'll also say too, like, sometimes I mail in my ballot, you want it postmarked by election day, but also sometimes I forget. And so I end up dropping off my mailed ballot at one of the, typically if you find an early voting spot, you can drop off your mail-in ballot there. So you don't have to skip the polling place, but it's nice to be able to have it, make your decisions leisurely. I'm a big proponent of voting by mail, personally.
I love that for you.
Jacoby, what about you? What's your biggest tip for October?
It feels like all summer we talked about the United Center and navigating traffic around it, security perimeters as the DNC was coming. And then last month in September, we almost never talked about it. Well, y'all, it's time to start thinking about the Madhouse on Madison again, because this is going to be a very, very busy month at the United Center. Two very big reasons. The Black Hawks season is starting back up. Preseason starts mid-October. The Bulls season starts this month. Again, preseason starts mid-October. And so start paying attention to the traffic picking up around those, but also just the regular amount of events that we have coming through the city in the UC this month. There's some big ones, y'all. Wild 'N Out's 20th anniversary, the Nick Cannon and MTV comedy show, gonna be at the United Center this month. Sabrina Carpenter's tour, which has been all over social media because I know it just recently got started up, will be in Chicago this month. Lil Durk, the voice of the city, his first annual birthday bash this month. And y'all, I didn't even get to Justin Timberlake, Usher, some other big names that are going to be taking place. So more traffic on 290 is to be expected this month, y'all. So plan accordingly. If you plan on going to those events, you can always try and park nearby and then have to walk 15, 20 minutes, or you can go on and get on the train. The Damon Green line
it's new. It
recently
just opened.
And so, hey, take advantage of it.
The other thing you mentioned, Jacoby, that I think is important to know is watch out for special events parking signs if you are going to drive.
Like those team event signs, they gonna really be enforced this month.
Yeah, I know you live in South Loop and you see it all the time around Soldier Field, United Center. I see it all the time. Luckily, it came to an end for me. But I live, on the north side near Wrigley, and like there is some weird parking stuff around there. And that highway traffic, you got traffic from the burbs coming in. Yeah, maybe take the train. Maybe the best advice is don't drive. Just take the train.
Don't drive. One thing we like to do to end all of these monthly guides is to talk about the thing we're most looking forward to eating this month. That could be a new restaurant, a place we haven't been in a long time, or just a place that's been on our list for a while. Simone, I'm going to start with you. What you looking forward to eating this month?
Jacoby, I am looking for a redemption story this weekend. Apple Fest in Lincoln Square, one of extremely popular, beloved fall fests that happens in Chicago every year. Last year, I went and it was over 80 degrees. It was sweltering. And the last thing you want when it's sweltering is some hot apple cider. Like that, it's just not... It's not the vibe, right? And I remember being really disappointed because I was like I had just gotten my leather jacket. I had gotten a tear replaced in it. And so I just picked up my leather jacket and I was like ready, and it was just no good. It was just hot and crowded and sad. And I remember passing by a raclette stand, the melted cheese, where they like scrape the melted cheese onto the bread for the sandwich. And I was like, nobody wants that. It's 80 degrees outside. This is not fun. And so this year, the weather will hopefully cooperate. It looks like it's going to be kind of upper 60s, lower 70s.
Is that what you're seeing? I'm seeing like 75, 76.
For the first week of October?
Am I looking at the right thing? At least on the Weather Channel.
I'm at AccuWeather. It says 68 on October 5.
I'm seeing 76, low of 58, high of 76.
You just got to go in the evening, don't go in the middle of the day.
That's a big swing. That's the other trick about October is who can predict the weather truly? Who knows?
Truly. It could snow, it could rainstorm.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen.
That's what you're hoping for, but it's not guaranteed.
I would really like to actually enjoy the apples at Apple Fest. And I think it needs to be, less than 75 degrees for that to happen. I don't think that's possible. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for this weekend is to have some cider and maybe a raclette if it's nice enough. But if I don't get it here, I'll get it at Chris Kindle Market in the winter.
I was going to say, if this isn't the month for hot toddies, maybe next month will be it.
Yeah, I think so. Michelle, what about you? What are you looking forward to eating this month?
So what I'm looking forward to eating, I've had this restaurant before, but I haven't had it since last winter. And because on the same note as you of like getting kind of ready for that fresher, colder weather and really craving something like warm and cozy and hearty, this restaurant, Ignatz, it's an old school Italian restaurant in this like small sub neighborhood of Pilsen, the heart of Chicago. And it's on this like street, which like if you ever been in this specific section of Oakley Avenue, like you are like transported back in time. Like even the little lampposts are so like old school and cute. And there's a bunch of Italian restaurants on the street. The one that I've had and that I really, really enjoy is Ignatz. They have really good, like they start off with like really good bread and a whole head of like roasted garlic when you get there. All the meals are so good. I've had plenty of their pasta dishes. Their lasagna is probably one of my favorites. Their vodka rigatoni, but everything and anything you get there, you can't go wrong. And this is something that I've really wanted to get. Like I can't wait to, call up a couple of my friends and have like an old school Italian dinner here. It's so cozy too when you go inside. Everyone's so nice. It's also a spot where like we just had an episode where we talked about spots to go alone. They also have like this bar and it's so cozy. The bartenders and the people there are so nice. Like they'll chat it up with you. And when you walk in there too, you feel like you're in someone's living room. Like it's cozy. There's a fireplace. There's photos of the family. Like it's legit. So I definitely recommend. And if you haven't been in that area at all and you just want to see this little cute street that I'm talking about, I totally recommend going there. Like it's like you turn a corner and you're like, whoa, like where have I transported to? It's really cool. Jacoby, what about you? What are you looking forward to eating this month?
I don't know. For some reason, I'm just feeling wings. And obviously, we've done episodes about Harold's and Uncle Remus, which for both people who live here and people who are not from Chicago are like two very established brands, but like I'm looking for the variety of wings you can get around the city, and I got three places I want to talk about, all pretty much on the far south side. One is Sanders Barbecue Supply Company in Beverly. They got these peach tea smoked wings.
So is the peach tea, is that in the sauce or is that in the cooking? Like where does what's happening there?
That's a very good question, Simone. I have not asked those questions, but I need to ask exactly when in the smoking process is the peach tea brought involved in. But it is good. It is good. Then we recently talked about Lior's Cafe out in Roseland, and they had these Haitian wings that I really wanted to try. Every picture I've ever seen, every video I've ever seen of them, they look damn good. And then one of my all-time favorite wings that I've probably not had in over a year, maybe a couple of years now, is the famous garlic wings from Wings It Is in Calumet Heights. They just load it up with the garlic powder, with the sauce. It's like this garlic Parmesan feel that is to die for. And so, yeah, I'm feeling wings this month. And so I think I'm gonna be getting a lot of them, especially, early Sunday, sitting down with my family, watching some games go one way or another. Maybe they score more points than us. Maybe we score more than them, but the wings will make it all the better. And if y'all are listening and you're like, Kobe, you missing it. You still ain't found the best wings in the city. I'm gonna put you on a place. Trust me, that's what I'm here for. That's what you here for. Let us know. 773-780-0246. If you got anything you're looking forward to in October, any wings you excited to eat, any events you're excited for, that's the number where you can text us or leave us a voicemail and put us on in the same ways we trying to put y'all on. I want to give another huge thank you to our guests today, the people who helped make this podcast what it is truly. Our executive producer, Simone Alisea.
Hey, thanks, Jacoby.
And our producer, Michelle Navarro.
Thanks, Jacoby.
One more thing before we get out of here. Make sure you bookmark our website, chicago.citycast.fm. There you're going to find our latest articles, our neighborhood and walking guides. You can subscribe to our daily newsletter, Hey Chicago, and you can sign up to become a member of CityCast Chicago, where you'll not only get ad-free listening, but a special members-only events email directly to your inbox. And you can sign up to become a member of CityCast Chicago, where you'll not only get ad-free listening, but a special events email directly to your inbox. Something you can only get on the podcast, though. Some good news. The 7th annual Destinos International Latino Theater Festival begins today and runs throughout October. They got over 20 shows to check out, and trust me, tickets are going fast. I wanted to go see Ruth on the Rocks, but their opening weekend is already sold out, so I had to get tickets for another day. So check the link in our show notes and book now. As always, we appreciate you for listening and reading. And if you're new to the podcast, we're going to be back bright and early tomorrow. Make sure you join us. Peace.
Go Jacoby, go Jacoby, go Jacoby, go Jacoby, go Jacoby, go Jacoby.
This is the perfect blooper.